And now our next segment is about the diaspora. We want to find out from them why it is that they're still abroad and what are some of the challenges that they face in trying to come back to Ghana. I'd like to invite my next guest, SYLVIA BAFFOUR and KWAME NKUM. Thank you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, so SYLVIA is a motivational speaker who is still living abroad and has traveled. She speaks about 5 different languages. She's traveled all over Africa. And there you have KWAME NKUM, who is recently graduated from a master's degree in American University and is currently working. So I'm here to really ask you, what are some of the challenges that you face? First of all, do you ever look to coming back to Ghana?
Do you want to go first?
No, you go.
Okay. Well, that's a good question. And Crystal, I have every intention of moving back. In fact, I'm here for a couple of months. I've been sort of phasing myself back in, and next year is my action year. I see such growth and potential in Ghana, and there's no reason for me to continue to be living in the US. I was telling Kwame backstage that for everything that I've complained about that Ghana doesn't seem to have or do right is an opportunity for me to provide something, some sort of service or an industry that can pop up. So yeah, I have plans to come back.
And Kwame, you are currently working in the States.
That's right.
Can you tell me, do you face challenges there as well, or how is it smooth? Like, just explain to me what.
Well, yeah, like everywhere else, there's a lot of challenges working in the States. It's the same things everybody complains about: too much work stress. There's a lot of bills to pay all the time, and it's cold in some times of the year. So it's the same stress that everybody goes through when they are abroad. But like she's saying, I'm looking to move back. It's not next year. I'm trying to move this year.
This year?
Yeah. So I'm excited about the possibilities and the opportunities that comes with it.
And what are some of the challenges that you would face in trying to move? I mean, you've graduated almost a year now also, right? And so what prevented you from, taking your suitcase and just jumping on that flight and coming down to Ghana?
Well, first it was the contacts. I had been away for a while, and every time I'm home, I'm here for vacation, right? And people are always having fun, but I didn't make it a point to be in touch with friends who are actually working and have been here, and find out what they're doing and how they're doing it. And so that was part of the challenge that I was facing. The other challenges is, everything is not kind of slow, internet service. If you're talking about water and electricity and stuff like that. So it became a challenge in that sense, but quickly I'm realizing that those are not real problems. They are things that you just have to go through and live with after a while. I'm finding out that people are actually doing it, so it becomes an opportunity again, and open opportunities for me to come back home.
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, we do see these problems all the time, but it's our home and it's our country, and we have to make that big step. Not to put pressure, but you can do what you want to do. But SYLVIA, now there is a big issue that a lot of sort of companies feel that those that are abroad have this sort of expectation when they come back, like they expect to be, let's say, in senior management positions right away when they step in. What do you think about that? Is that really the case? Do we have this perception?
I think it's possible that that perception does exist. I think, though, that more and more people, I'll give an example, because I lived in Kenya for quite a few years, and the number of people that I went to school with in Kenya who went to school overseas in the US for college that have relocated back to Kenya is enormous. And their expectations aren't as high as they would be living in a developed country. I mean, they do understand that they're walking into a developing nation and there will be some sacrifices. But living overseas, sometimes you get so tired of all the things you get tired of. You're just working to pay bills and never really enjoying life. So coming back, I think there's a little bit more patience that we can have in not expecting to be in senior management positions right, from the start, but actually working our way as quickly as we can, or starting companies of our own, which is what I'm going to be doing.
And I want to piggyback on that. I think individuals have to find what's pertinent to them, what's important to you, right? If you're coming back home, is it Are you looking to do something that will improve the lives of people that live here versus, okay, this is not the US or this is not London or this is not Australia or something. So you can't expect the same things when you're here compared to if you're abroad. Yes. And so people have to just calm down and find out, okay, this is Ghana. We are a third world country still. There are a lot of growth and development opportunities that are still available. So avail yourself to that and then try and make it happen. So.
Yes. Now, with both of you, you guys both were born here, you schooled a bit here, and then you went abroad. What about those that weren't born here? They're Ghanaians, but they were born abroad, and are looking to come back. What do you think, what advice do you have for them? What steps should they take, and how should they go about it?
Patience.
Yeah.
That's the biggest word, patience. That's the one that comes to me. I think if you have the same expectations of living abroad and bringing it back here and expecting the same things, you might be very disappointed.
Yeah. Now, Sylvia, with regards to that, again, on that same topic, when it comes to them being, you know, the idea of, okay, well, I'm coming down here and I'm trying to start something, but I want the government to help me. Like, why isn't the government doing anything about it? Or why isn't... I want us to look away from that. Let's look at what do you think we can do to help ourselves together, build ourselves, so that, because we can't wait on, let's say, the government or the private sector to, you know, we have to do something. So what do you think some of the solutions would be to that?
I think, first of all, doing a bit of research on what it is that people want to do when they come here. You know, if you're going to start some sort of consulting services firm, you know, doing thorough research and building a model that perhaps can attract the attention of private companies that might be willing to put in a penny or two. I mean, you look at Facebook right now being valued at $500 million. You look at this company called Groupon, which in 2 years is being bought out for $6 billion. So if we put our heads together and develop some good ideas, look at what is missing in Ghana and what we can provide using expertise from overseas, I'm sure there are companies out there that might actually jump on these in terms of giving some funding to something that looks legitimate and that is well researched.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think that some of these private companies then can do for us to help enable? Because, I mean, you come down, you know, your parents have paid for your education, you've gone abroad, or you funded it yourself, whichever way, and, you know, when you're working out there, you're making more than you would be making if you were working here, right? So it's not as easy to come back and just be like, okay, I'm gonna come live with my parents again and, you know, just get used to them ordering you around, doing this, doing that, you know, like they do it. Parents do it, right? They don't stop. Yeah. So how do you think, with the environment that we have now, it's not that simple. How do you think that we can make it easy for ourselves?
I honestly think the private sector has a big role to play in this. If they incentivize young people to come back home and give them opportunities to work, I don't see, and I've talked to a few others who are in my position, they are just looking for an opportunity to move back home but don't have a steady job waiting for them, or they don't have that incentive to come back home. And if they do, they would. But that's the biggest thing, that the private sector should look for an opportunity to do that. I was hoping by the time I was coming back home that there will be an agency of sorts, okay, that specializes in recruiting foreign, or not even foreign, the Ghanaian professionals living abroad and bringing them back home and helping them find jobs here. That would be a great idea that I was hoping that someone would be able to do.
So it's about agencies, about finding the opportunities. Right. We are looking out to everyone to sort of help us out in making this possible. I think at the end of the day, it still boils down to us, right?
Yeah, we definitely have to be bold.
Be bold. All right. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Yes. All right. We'll take another commercial break and we'll be back shortly.